Children, in this video I am going to explain you the last chapter of Indian economic development, that is development experience of India, Pakistan and China, a comparative study. Dear children, as you know, India and Pakistan both got independence in 1947, and after that they started their development path almost with a similar strategy. Both of the countries, they preferred to have the mixed economic system, and that means the private sector and the public sector both will be working together. But in both the countries, the public sector was given the key role and the private sector was given the secondary role. The question is, why public sector was given the key role in both the countries? There were some reasons behind this also. As India and Pakistan, they got independence in 1947. Before that, India had been the slave country of the British colony. So at the time of independence, we were very poor in economic status, and none of the private entrepreneurs were in the position to take the responsibility of the development of economic and social infrastructure. So we needed a big push of investment, and that could be done only by the government. So both of the countries, they relied on the public sector. China, on the other hand, had the rigorous model of the growth. China established the People's Republic of China in 1949, and Chinese government decided to have the full control on the national resources and all the critical areas of the production. That means all the national resources and all the process of critical aspects of the production activities, they were under the control of the government. China adopted the statalism as the model of the growth. That means ownership of all the resources vested with the state, and the government will decide what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce only. No any private person could decide what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Both countries, India and Pakistan, we had the public sector as the core sector. Along with China, we all the three countries looked upon the inward-looking policy. We followed the inward-looking policy. Inward-looking policy, you know that the protection of the domestic producers from the foreign producers by imposing heavy taxes on imports, by having the import quota and export quota, etc. So all the three countries started with the closed economy, and we did not favor the foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment was considered as a ban rather than the boon in the process of the growth. One more similarity in all the three countries was that we started our planning system almost all together. India started the economic planning in 1951. China started economic plannings in 1953, and Pakistan started its first year 5-year plan in 1956. So we see that India and Pakistan both had mixed economic system, giving more importance to the public sector, and model of the growth is one that assigns greater importance to FDI rather than the domestic investment. This has been changed just now. China, on the other hand, still has the statism, and it continues to be the state managed economy. Of course, there have been substantial transformation in China also. Now, the Chinese government also preferred to have the open economy in place of the closed economy, and Chinese government is preferring the export oriented economy. FDI is now the high priority for the economic growth. So we see that in all the three countries, India, China, and Pakistan, we have started our development path almost all together, and we have achieved a lot. Like GDP growth have taken the substantial jump in India, Pakistan, and China. The structure of growth has also recorded a significant transformation. The demographic profile also shows very encouraging indicators. China has a great lead over India and Pakistan. Though we had started our development path almost all together, where we followed almost same strategies, but we see that China is establishing a substantial lead over India and Pakistan. We will see that regarding the China, first GDP growth of China, we see that in 2019 GDP of China was estimated to be 14.2 trillion US dollar. It achieved the position of the second largest economy after the US economy. In 1979 to 2017, the average annual growth rate of the China was almost 9%, and in 1984 Chinese GDP achieved the peak, that was 15.2%. This was very remarkable. But in 1990 the China's GDP growth touched the bottom, that was 3.8% only. But again in 2018 GDP growth was maintained to 6.6%. You see that China's GDP has been lingering from 4% to 10% between 1980s to till date. So we see that China has been able to achieve very nice. There had been some reason that how could the China lead over India and Pakistan and all other countries. First was that the China had changed from centrally planned economy to the market economy. Another thing is the Chinese government had focused on export related domestic production. That means the production of those goods was preferred, of which the export is there. It means those goods which are demanded in other countries. Then they invited the foreign direct investment also. The labor is very cheap in China. That's why they can get the comparative cost advantage. One more thing is the GLF, that is greatly forward. They adopted this campaign in 1958 to have the economic and industrial development at faster rate. This is the campaign which was very motivational, and every household was instructed to run an industry in their courtyard. Another thing which contributed to the development of the Chinese was the SEDGE. SEDGE means special economic zones where world-class amenities, world-class facilities are provided to the investors like 24 hours electricity, transportation, banking, insurance, security, etc. So we see that Chinese government has been able to achieve a lot during this time. Of course, during 2014 to 2017-18, India's the Chinese government, Chinese economy faced the slowdown. There were some reasons because the in European countries and in domestic country, the goods produced in China, their demand declined, and of course corruption and economic crimes also risen over the time over there. Chinese people also, Chinese producers also, they preferred to run their businesses and to shift to other countries where the policies of the government were liberal, more liberal than the China. The producers, they shifted to other countries. As you know that the Chinese government had very strict policies regarding the production and all other. One more thing was there that the Chinese government was. So we see that there was a slowdown in the Chinese economy, and the reasons are, as I told you, that the global demand for their goods produced in China was declining. Along with that, the domestic demand in China was also slowing down. The reasons were the propensity to consume of Chinese was declining and propensity to save was increasing. So they were spending less on consumption and they were preferring the savings. Along with that, the corruption and economic crimes in China was also rising. One more important thing was that the Chinese people now were demanding higher wages, and when they were not getting the higher wages, they were shifting to other countries where they could get higher wages and they could get more facilities. Videos I'll be explaining you the structure of the growth and the demographic profile of all the three countries and human development. Please like, share and subscribe my channel. Okay, bye.